And I think people take it so lightly. We talked about this earlier. Life jacket, 99% of the time you're going to put it on, and then you're like, I got this life jacket on. But that one time, it saves your life. Those things are lifesavers. That's why they're called what they're called.
Yeah, common sense ain't that common anymore.
Make sure it's going to be cold weather coming up here. It's starting to get cooler. You're going to be out there duck hunting, whether it's fishing, hunting, anytime you're in a boat.
Love the Lord with all your heart. Do unto others. Y'all, that's the place to start. And don't go to fighting unless you know what you're fighting for. Common sense ain't that common anymore, no. Common sense ain't that common anymore.
Common sense.
Nice. Yeah.
It can happen to anybody, anytime. So you got to be thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I think it'll influence a lot of people to put that life jacket on, have a float plan, be smart about their equipment, and just some little things like that we wanted to share today.
Won't you take me back to Tennessee?
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest info about hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. This year, we celebrate the men and women of the TWRA responsible for 75 years of wildlife conservation. Now make welcome your host, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. I'm Jason Harmon, your host, and we got another great show lined up for you today. Mr. Don King helping me co-host.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's hard to believe it's been over a year since we had this guy in the studio with us.
I know. It feels like almost over a year since we've been in the studio all the shows on the road.
I know it does.
But yeah, I'm excited about our guest today to have Mr. Chris Hennessee back with us.
Yes.
And your intro on the show, hunting, fishing, boating, that's what we're going to talk about today. Everything.
Exactly.
It's a show chock full of everything today. So.
Hey, and speaking of Chris, thanks to him for letting us use his song as our theme song for the year, really, for our 75th anniversary. It's been great. We've been able to put together a music video of a lot of wildlife and just outdoor activities and everything. And Chris was gracious enough to let us use the song for that.
Oh, you kidding?
Purpose.
That was a blessing to me. And actually, we're still listening to it. It sounds great. It's never sounded better, though. I mean, the vocals my vocals sounded good, but man, that guy that comes on and does the intro, I don't know who that is, but he has got a voice made for radio.
Oh yeah, face for radio. Yeah.
Oh, that's really great, guys. And that was such a blessing to me that you guys were willing to use that song. It was kind of spawned here, right? The last time I was here.
You made the song pitch right here at the table.
Yeah, I did. I was not afraid to do it. Matter of fact, I got one I'll throw at you today.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't.
Let's hear it. Lay it on me.
Welcome to Nashville, right? It's like Music Row. But no, it sounded great, man. We had a great time recording that, too. It's really good, man.
Yeah, it turned out great, and I think it's been a great, kickoff to it's not kickoff, but it was a good kickoff to the 75th, and we're almost done with that. Come February or so, that'll be the end of the 75 years.
Yep.
Into the 76th year, but it's been a fun celebration this year, but anyway, let's jump into a radio station real quick, Don.
WJSQ, and you guys are very familiar with this station. It's in Athens, right down the road from where you guys grew up. So, or up the road, maybe I should say.
Over the hill.
Yeah, over the hill. 101.7. We own 6 a.m. at this station 6 days a week.
Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
The first Chris Hennessee song ever played on the radio was played on 101.7 in Athens, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
How cool
I was born in Athens, Tennessee. Were you?
I was born in Cleveland.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Southerner. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, that's the old stomping grounds there. I mean, they still play some great music to this day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, as I said, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday, we're on the extras play for 5 minutes every morning. And then at 6 a.m. on Saturdays, you hear the whole show. So,
well, I'd just like to give a shout out to Mom and them over there across the ridge in Decatur. Hope they're all doing well. And at 6 a.m., if it is, I hope y'all are just getting up and turning your radio on to 101.7.
Probably getting the coffee ready.
She's getting the coffee ready. Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate our radio partners. Appreciate everybody that's out there listening on the podcast. Like it, share it, subscribe. YouTube is also a great place to watch the show if you want to. And we're on Carbon TV, so
yes,
check us out there and all the other great hunting and fishing content out there on Carbon TV. So, we've introduced Chris, but Chris, thanks for coming back. Thanks for being on the show again. It was a great time with you the first go around, so we thought we'd have you back and talk a little bit of hunting, a little bit of fishing, and boating is going to be a big topic today. But what have you been up to? You've been out in the woods here lately since we
I have
chatted
actually.
last?
Well, it's funny. So this is, when we're shooting this, we're right in the middle of fall. Leaves are falling. Everything's beautiful. Mm-hmm. There's no more beautiful place than Tennessee in the fall.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure that there's some places up north could make an argument, but I don't think so. Tennessee wins.
It's a tough one.
So we have been, we've been looking at deer. Mm-hmm. We have not done anything about it yet. But we did chase some doves back in the day, and a month or so ago, and we've been out shooting a little bit of bird shooting, so we've had a good time with that. But yeah, we're always outside doing something and fishing too. Yeah.
It's a great time. It doesn't matter what time. It's fall. You can do it all.
Oh, it's
the greatest time to be outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool to hear that you've been getting out with your boys and having a good time.
Hey, and another thing that happened since we saw him, he got on the road with a podcast.
I did. I was going to mention that too.
Yeah.
So I came in here last year and I saw this genius at work in here, and I thought, this is pretty cool, man. And so it really, I sort of had an idea to do a show, and talking with you guys really kind of helped to get that into motion. And so I started a show called Fully Armed, and it's a podcast. It's on YouTube. It's the different formats.
Yeah.
And it's a faith-based show, and I interview people, and I just ask them how faith has played a role in their career or whatever it is that they may, be into or are doing. So, and it's been great. It's been a challenge, and I do it in out of a mobile studio. And we jokingly, not jokingly, it's actually become a thing that we call the studio Judy. So it's an RV. It's a 06 Winnebago, and I bought it from a lady named Judy, and that's kind of how it took over.
Yeah.
So we gutted it and turned it into a studio, and now once a week. Right now we're putting our episodes out on Sundays. Of course, they're there forever at that point.
Definitely.
But it's been great. Had some amazing guests, and go check it out. Fully Armed with Chris Hennessee.
And it's a wide variety of folks you talk to.
It is. I've had a Major League Baseball player, Dalton Varsho, which we'll talk about him a little more. He was on there. I just got through, and we'll talk about him too, I'm sure. Ott Defo, which has been on your show.
Yeah, he came on a while back. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to catch a fish, and he took me fishing. Matter of fact, I'll tell you about it right
Let's
now.
hear it, yeah.
So I put a few episodes out, and Ott would comment on my show.
Oh, nice.
And so when I saw the comments, I'm like, I'm just going to, he's East Tennessee boy. I didn't know him, but I'm just going to hit him up, And I was like, man, you want to come on the show? He's like, absolutely. So I said, I can bring the studio to you, which was a good move on my part, because he said, yeah, just bring it down to the house. And he lives in Blaine, Tennessee, right on the Holston River. And so I drove down there early one morning. He's like, let's go fishing. And I'm like, yeah, let's go fishing. So we got in his boat, put in there on the Holston, and it was a foggy morning, beautiful. This was, I don't know, it was sometime in September. No, it would have been October, middle October. So he handed me his rod, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to show up with my cheap gear. This is Ott Defo. He's won the Bassmasters. He's the man. So he gave me the same thing. It was a chatterbait. It's what he was using, right? And you would think, wouldn't you, that the same boat, same bait, same rod and reel,
same water,
same everything, that we would catch the same amount of fish. It just does not work out like that. So I'm telling you guys, within 3 minutes, he's like, oh, that's a pretty good one. And he reels in at least a 3 pound, maybe more smallmouth. I got a picture on it. But he reels it in. He said, "I'm not being a real good host, am I?" I was like, "You just dry hole me in the back of the boat back here."
Yeah.
But no, we had an absolutely great time, and he's just phenomenal. He's just a great. Now there's a great Tennessean right there. I love him. So we had a great time. So he's on the show. I've had some. Drake White, country music singer. I could go through a whole bunch of them. We've had some really great ones. The one that I just released is Rhonda Paulson, and she is the founder of Isaiah 117 House, and I'm going to always say their name if I get a chance because this place is unbelievable. You guys go check it out, Isaiah 117. Well, I won't go into great detail about what it's about, but go look it up. It's about foster children, and
Awesome.
It's a really, really great service that they do. But anyways, it's been really cool. Had some great guests on there.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, go follow Chris and Fully Armed, Apple Podcast, YouTube. You got Instagram, Facebook out there, so just go find it.
Yeah.
And follow him. That's awesome. Well, Don, you said let's play a song around 5 minutes. We're 9 minutes in.
Is that 9 minutes? How did that happen?
That's just how the cookie crumbles. You want to kick off a song? We did this one back when the first time you were here, but this is, you said you changed it up a little bit and got some new lyrics, but it's a new release.
Yeah, so, I played it a year ago, and then I played it out live for a while, and then before I officially recorded it, and then I started thinking I didn't really love the way that it felt as it was, so I redid it. And so I just released this a couple of weeks ago, and it's called Common Sense. And I wrote it loosely about my granddads. So as we talked about the first time I was here, my granddad, Billy Hennessee, he used to take me quail hunting all the time. We'd go pheasant hunting, and so it's a lot about him, really. My granddad was born in 1924. Seems to me they don't make 'em like that anymore. He was tougher than a leather glove, put his faith in God above, and an old Ford truck. He sat me down the day I turned 17. He said, "The whole world's going crazy, boy, beats all I've ever seen. The price of gas through the roof. You can't trust what's on the news. You need a lot more than luck. It's been 10 years since he passed away, but I can still hear him say, love the Lord with all your heart. Put your trust in Jesus, not on some shooting star. And don't go to fighting unless you know what you're fighting for. Boy, common sense ain't that common anymore." He said, "Don't believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. Remember all the ones that died. Freedom don't come free. A boy grows up to be a man, and every child is part of God's plan. They ought to get a chance." Yeah. He said, "A hard day's work, yeah, it's good for you, but don't get in over your boots. And love the Lord with all your heart. Put your trust in Jesus, not on some shooting star. And don't go to fighting unless you know what you're fighting for. Yeah, common sense ain't that common anymore." Love the Lord with all your heart. Do unto others, y'all, that's the place to start. And don't go to fighting unless you know what you're fighting for.
Common sense ain't that common anymore, no. Common sense ain't that common anymore.
Common sense.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I can hear subtle differences and changes that you did to that. It's very good.
Yeah,
very
there were a few changes on it, but it's a little more rocking than it was when I played it last time.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. Good stuff.
Very timely too.
I think so. Yeah, I
very
think so.
timely.
Yeah.
Well, that was what a generation of people, right?
Yep.
And so it seems to me that, and my granddad would have been 100 years old this year. And it seems to me that going through the trials that group went through, whether it was the back end of the Depression or in the middle of the Depression, World War II,
Yep.
and they came out of that knowing what it was like to struggle and to suffer, and it just builds character. And then it makes you really, in my opinion, look at things and go, like, well, that just don't make common sense. I mean,
And it helps you appreciate what we have.
It does, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It does. So, yeah, common sense. That's it.
100%. That's
Love
awesome. Yeah, me too. Well, let's transition just a little bit here and talk a little bit of boating safety. We recently shot some video at Pickwick Dam and went through a scenario of a boat that might be fishing above the dam, and the spillways have been opened, and it's trying to educate people on the dangers of fishing around a dam, boating around a dam, period. And we had the opportunity to set up a few boats, remote controlled, and they were, one was brought over the dam because of the spillway being opened, and then one was pulled in just because of the dangerous waters below that happened. So we've been through those scenarios here recently, and we're just trying to educate people on safe boating around dams.
Yes.
Don was part of the shoot, and we got a lot of great footage just to help educate people, and it's going to be part of our boating education class. You're going to see more of this on our website and in our materials that we produce and put out. But it was a great partnership with TVA and other partners. So
Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it was a great shoot, and I look forward to sharing that and getting it out. But knowing Chris and we talked and chatted, and just knowing his story, I got firsthand experience with this. So he shared it on one of his podcasts, and I heard it, and I thought, wow, this will be a great chance to just kind of hear it firsthand and just share how dangerous it can be to fish around dams and help educate people on it. And what better person than Chris to come in and talk about it. And I appreciate you being open to share that.
Absolutely. And we talked about this a little bit on the phone, and you told me about the shoot that you guys did, and it's a little touchy to me, right? And
sure.
And I haven't seen it, but so at first I was kind of hesitant to be like, I don't know, Now I haven't really spoken about it much until this year for 35 years. It was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's important. I really, really do, especially after having talked to you a little bit, that this could save lives. I mean, literally, what you guys are doing could save lives. And I think people take it so lightly. We talked about this earlier. Life jacket, 99% of the time you're going to put it on, and then you're like, I got this life jacket on. But that one time, it saves your life,
Yeah.
Should not take it for granted. Those things are lifesavers, and that's why they're called what they're called.
Right.
But yeah, so in 1989, my Uncle Jackie was a big fisherman, and I'm so glad to talk about him on this show because it's about hunting and fishing. And he was old school, I guess, an OG hunter, because this was back in the 70s and 80s where climbing up a tree and shooting deer, which is so commonplace now. That's such a big deal. Man, Jackie was like way ahead of his time. And he used to like put climbing spikes on and just climb up a tree and sit on a limb, and he would kill big bucks, back in those days. And actually, when he was at Tennessee Tech, and I wish I had his name, but he was best pals with the guy who eventually went on to found the Wild Turkey Federation.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they were both at Tech at the same time. So, and Jackie would go hunting turkeys, when nobody else was turkey hunting either.
Right.
I mean, growing up in Meigs, we barely saw turkeys.
No, I don't remember seeing any when I was a teenager. And it was one of the classic things somebody said once about Jackie. Said he never does let his extracurricular activities get messed up by school. So he was real big into hunting and fishing. So he and I and my dad one day decided we're going to go catch some catfish at Watts Bar. Watts Bar Dam. And so for a lot of guys that are listening to this, they'll know that you can catch some big catfish up on the dam. So we it's just like any other Sunday. We're gonna go fishing. That's what we do. So we took the boat down there. We got in it, and that's one thing about Jackie is that, man, his stuff was good. Like, it ran right. He didn't mess around, And so for the people that don't know, you go up kind of not close to the dam. Make sure we're real clear about that. You don't want to get anywhere close to it on the top side or the bottom side. But you get within 300 yards of it, and then the current will push you back away from it. And we would just drop our lines down to the bottom drift and catch big old catfish. Well, this one particular day, we came up, we got into our spot, everything was right, no problem. And you're not thinking danger. You're just out having fun fishing.
Yeah. Y'all are having a good day.
Yeah. And so there were 3 guys in a boat waving at us, and kind of frantically, and we're like, well, it's pretty simple. We're just going to go over to them, then we're going to get a rope to them, and then we're going to pull them out of there. No problem, because you could tell their boat was stalled. So as we're going up there, and I always tell, like I said, I haven't told this story much, but as we were going up there, Uncle Jackie said, get the life jackets out. Of course, we were all adults, and we weren't wearing them. We should have been the whole time in that situation. But I grabbed them, and I threw him one of the zip-up ones, and I put on the orange one. Well, any life jacket's a good life jacket, but I'm just going to tell you, some of them work better than others.
Yeah.
So he said, no, give me that orange one. So I took it off, threw it to him, and he threw the other one, and I zipped it up. Well, I was 15 at the time.
He swapped with you.
He swapped with me, and he saved my life. And he gave his up, not, for that situation. He really did.
Yeah.
It would have been me instead of him. So he did not make it out of this, as you probably figured out. But so we go up to them. They throw a rope to us because they're ready, right? Well, when they and this is rough waters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So not both. There were like 3. I don't know how many are on Watts Bar, but they were a lot of spill gates open, and it's just like Niagara Falls coming off.
Yeah. Right.
So they threw a rope, and unknown to us at the time, it went in the water and got wrapped around the prop. Now, I bet you could do it 100 times and it wouldn't do it but once, but it did in this one case. So now you got 2 boats that can't go.
And you didn't know this at the time?
No. Nobody did. Because he's trying to start the boat, and it's like, why didn't it start? It always starts, So that was what the deal was. I mean, I've been out on the lake for the last 30 years since then, and I've never seen it happen again. Now, I know it's easy for that to happen, but I haven't seen it,
Yeah.
So let me just tell you, when you're that far away from the dam, it's pushing you away from it. But when you get a little closer to it, it does the opposite. That top water backdraft sucks you back towards the dam. So people would think, we're good as long as we don't get down there. It's like, no, there's a lot of, this is an extreme situation right here. Like, there's a lot of water coming out of those things.
Yeah.
So, it just pulls you in. And there's no, like, you don't jump out, you don't paddle. There's none of that.
There's nowhere to go.
It's too late.
Yeah.
So, once the water hits the boat, you're down. And I just remember specifically it's just black, like just for a while. And not to go into too many details about it, but, you're down long enough to take a few breaths because your body just makes you do it, And then I saw light, and that's when I realized I'm coming back up, And when I came back up, I was a good 200 or 300 yards from the dam. So been down,
Yeah.
So, my Uncle Jackie gave me that life jacket, and he gave his life up in doing so. So, and he saved mine though, 100%. And then, and actually some guys, and one of the guys in the other boat lost his life in that situation too. So a situation that could have been avoided, you know, but however, things can happen, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like what we should learn from this situation and all these situations is put on your life jacket, you know, because 6 people went down that day and 4 came up. Well, that's too few, you know, everybody should have.
Right.
But without life jackets, nobody gets out of there.
Nobody would have. Yeah.
So it's really important. Yeah.
And as you said, Jackie was top notch on top of his mechanical
Oh, yeah, he knew.
equipment,
Yeah.
making sure the engine was running right, batteries charged.
Yeah.
You're good to go. And
Well, there's so many things that can happen.
yep.
I mean, even if you're not in that situation, you get out in the lake and, you know, or on the river and your boat doesn't start and you're downstream. Well, you know, who knows how far down you wind up. Just, always make sure your stuff's working good before you go out there and put it in the water.
That leads us to one other thing we were talking about earlier, giving your family, friends, whoever, a contact of your float plan. You know, where are you going? Where are you going to put in? What you're planning to do? You know, the general area and about what time you're going to get back.
You know, and that works with hunting and
Exactly.
Especially for me, almost especially with hunting, because you're intentionally going in and isolating yourself from everybody else.
Right.
So if nobody knows where you are and you fall out of your tree stand, which happens, let's not fool ourselves. It happens. People need to know where you are.
Right. Could be somewhere where there's no service, and if you know it gets dark and it gets way past dark.
Yep.
Nobody's showing up. You know where to go to find you.
But it's important. We talk about this stuff, and I've been on the other end where I'm listening to this kind of stuff, and I'm like, well, that ain't gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. And it's like it can happen to anybody, anytime. So you got to be thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I think it'll influence a lot of people to put that life jacket on, have a float plan, you know, be smart about their equipment, and just some little things like that we wanted to share today. You know, make sure, you know, it's going to be cold weather coming up here. It's starting to get cooler. You're going to be out there duck hunting, whether it's fishing, hunting, anytime you're in a boat.
Going after sauger down below the dam, you know, in that cold weather.
Well, and then even like fly fishing, right, or going fishing like on Caney Fork maybe. Man, that water can it can come up in an instant, right? Know the plan. Know when the water's coming up. I mean, it's there's a lot of things that could be avoided. It can be really dangerous, you know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing, and I hope it save another life.
Well,
you know?
I appreciate what you guys do, and like the video. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I know it'll be impactful, and because without you guys getting the word out, and you know, people don't know. I mean, so it's important that people understand that as much fun as we can have doing this stuff, at the same time, you got to be cautious.
Yep,
you really do.
Well, I wanted to highlight a new song that you came out with this year, and we're going to run out of time, so maybe you could play us out and maybe tell us a quick tidbits about this song you did with Dalton Barshow.
I will play us out.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man? We just got started.
We got time limits here, you know.
You do?
We appreciate our radio partners for carrying this. So,
all right. Oh, that's true. Yeah, radio. I forget about that.
So I'll just say thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Chris Hennessee. We're glad he's here. Thanks for coming back. Follow his show, Fully Armed. And he's going to tell us or play us a song that he wrote for Major League Baseball's Blue Jays, Dalton Barshow.
Yes, sir. You got it. So, I'll play it out as we go here. I just want to say congratulations to Dalton Barshow, who today just got the Gold Glove, center fielder for the AL Gold Glove for center fielder. So I wrote this song for him to walk out to, and got to go up to Toronto for their opening day and got to hang out with them. So, this is called Bottle Rocket, and I wrote it for Dalton. So, and he's a big hunter too, by the way.
Oh, glad to get him on the show.
There you go.
Ready or not, here I come. Got a lead foot pedal, I'm a son of a gun. Coming in hot, sitting on gold. Ain't bragging, baby, when you know, you know. Fire it up, ain't no way you can stop it. Bottle rocket, yes sir. Well, jet fuel burning, I'm a well-oiled machine. a runaway train, and I'm building up steam. A broadhead flying from a 90-pound bow. Ain't bragging, baby, when you know, you know. B-52 and I'm ready to drop it. Bottle rocket.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See ya, boys.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep coming back, and we'll see you next time.